special because all the great athletes that come through East High before, so to hear your name mentioned with some of these great athletes is you know, it's kind of surreal.
It means a lot to me to start with. I thought about it quite a bit, but the one thing I really think about is my teammates. I like to think of it as an honor for myself, but maybe more importantly, it's an honor for my teammates.
It's a great pleasure to be inducted into the Ring of Honor. I think it's a great opportunity to show your experience as being an East High football Trojan.
It means everything to me to be along with all the great athletes that came before me and who I played with, so it's a big accomplishment for me.
It really means a lot to me to be inducted into the Ring of Honor, joining an outstanding group of football players. It really means a lot, and you know, I'm just thankful for the Ring of Honor committee for voting me in, and I'm glad to be a part of it now.
My father would be immensely honored and proud to be here. The kids were always the biggest thing to him. All the times that we had, all the FCA stuff that he did, all the coaching and the teaching. All he ever lived for was to be there for the kids and have fun with them, do whatever it is he could do for them. I've got a lot of people come up to me over the years, and I'll have good stories about something that my father had did or said to them that helped them out or influenced their lives in some sort of positive way. And I think that's what really meant the most to him, and to be recognized for it, I think would have meant the world to him if he was here.
Oh, the times that I ran over my brother. He played for West. That's about one of the best things. But it was a great experience. You know, I learned a lot. Had an opportunity to do other things, and I'm just proud to be here.
A really good memory that comes to mind is my very first varsity football game as a sophomore, rolling up at Sloan Wallace, dressed and ready to go, getting off the bus and just seeing all the fans in the stands. Just a really, really nice feeling, you know, coming out on the field for the first time.
The brotherhood, being around the guys, going to practice, going to the games, having meetings on the weekends, preparing for the games.
Enjoyed every minute of it. Sometimes the things that you remember happen off the field with your friends. I think that when I first came to East High, my sophomore year, I had maybe 2 or 3 friends. By the time I got done playing 3 years of football, I think I had 20 or 30 friends. And most of them were my friends from playing football.
9th grade, and we first got them orange and black jerseys and uniforms, and that was the key right there. That's just wanted to play, wear the orange and black.
I'm Brenton Shavers. I'm the athletic director here, and I would just like to take a moment to welcome you all here. It is very special to see all these individuals in front of me with the white shirts on, all the tradition and honor that they've put forth to make East High what it is today. So if we could all give them, our past and former inductees, a round of applause, I would really appreciate it. And to these individuals behind me, knowing that they are joining a very special group of individuals, if we can give them a round of applause, that would be great as well. Once again, thank you for coming out tonight. Any questions, you can get a hold of any of us around the room. Restrooms are in the back if you need those. And I'll turn it over now to our new building principal.
Good evening, everyone. This is the second time today I had the opportunity to be in front of a microphone. I was at KBBG, I believe, this afternoon. And that experience kind of helped prep me for this one. I do also want to welcome all of you here. And as I've gotten information about this event from Mr. Shavers and from a few of the gentlemen who kind of popped through that I got the opportunity to meet, I do want to extend my welcome and thanks for at least allowing me to come and speak before you, and to those behind me who are being inducted. As this is something that I see as part of the tradition and culture of East, and I am coming into that. is something that I feel a little humbled and honored to at least have the opportunity to witness and see. I've never been a part or been able to work within an organization that did something such as this, so this is significant for me. I hope that this is the first of many opportunities that we get a chance to do this. And again, I want to make sure that I thank and put a welcome out to all of you, especially the alumni. As a former athlete myself, I always, look back at being able to go back to where we started our athletic roots. I was a football player at my old high school, so being able to be a part of something and give back to the community that you came from and the school you came from, and to be inducted into a ring of honor to be acknowledged for everything that you've done. This is a great opportunity for everyone, and again, I want to thank all of you for allowing me to speak and be part of this community and this event. So thank you and welcome.
Brent, you want your cell phone? I don't want it ringing off while we're doing it. Principal Parker? Wow. Anyway, welcome to our 14th annual Ring of Honor ceremony. I want to say that again, our 14th Ring of Honor ceremony. And I'm just kind of curious, how many of you were here the very, very first one we had, other than the inductees that got inducted then? Anybody here 14 years ago? A couple of you? Very good. 14 years to keep going, and we're just continuing it. In our 14-year period, we've gone through 4 principals, 5 athletic directors, 6 head coaches, numerous superintendents of schools, but we still continue on. And we say this before, what other school in the state remembers, recognizes, and acknowledges the rich history, the rich heritage, and the tradition of football like East High School? That's where we're very, very happy. I want to give some thanks to a few people. Number one, Mr. Parker, our new principal, that helped us out, get everything lined up. Mr. Shavers, our athletic director, is pretty humble. Mr. Shavers is on the 1986 state playoff team, Big 8 champs. Great job, not only as athletic director, as a football player also. A couple other people I want to acknowledge is Ms. Tina Rowe, our secretary, that helped coordinate all the programs that you see. If you've been here through the years, this year's program is as nice as we've ever done, so we want to thank her on behalf of that. Hope you enjoyed the culinary department. The East High culinary department, under direction of Talia Neiman. Can we give a nice round of applause to the East High Culinary Department? Also, we're getting financial assistance for the polos, the plaques, the certificates, the frames from the East High Golf Alumni Committee that help us out financially each and every year. This stuff doesn't just fall out of the trees. There is a cost factor involved. So we want to thank Lynette Hockey Dorothy, Tim Moses, Brian Pearson, and Dale Wilson for the job that they do with the golf outing. Also want to say thank you to Mike Allen and Mike Sheely for their help, not only this year, but within the last 10 to 12 years, they've been very instrumental in making the East High Ring of Honor a success as it has been. Also want to quick mention that as East High gives to the Ring of Honor likes to give back to East High School. And some of you came in this way, you might have seen a brick walkway that the Football Ring of Honor has established. So you're more than welcome to get a brick there. It helps us 3 ways. It helps East High financially, it helps clean up that district out front, and it helps you leave a lasting legacy for your time at East High School. So Mike Allen has that information, along with a DVD of memories of a lot of the Ring of Honor members telling their favorite story at East High School. Also want to recognize a few dignitaries in the audience that took time to get here. We talked about 4 different principals and the different athletic directors, but we've also been blessed to have a great superintendent. Dr. Jane Lindeman was here earlier. She had a family commitment she had to leave. I want to thank Dr. Lindeman for taking time to help support us. We also have, is Marla still in the audience? Marla Pageant, the former principal here, has also helped us out tremendously. We do have some other dignitaries. Our new Metropolitan Athletic Director, Mr. Dan Huff, over here. Dan, you want to wave? Nice to have you here. And taking Bev Smith's job downtown administration, Kingsley Botchley. Kingsley, glad to have you here also. So, thank you for that. I'd like to, at this time, also mention a couple other people. You know, this is a sport of football, and it's a team sport. You can't do it by yourself. And all these guys in the audience will tell you, and all these guys back here, this isn't a wrestling match where it's one-on-one or a swimming meet where you have other teammates. And although we are recognizing the new inductees this year and the ones in the past, they can tell you you can't do it unless you have your other teammates with you. So I know we have a sprinkling in the crowd, but if you have ever played football and you are a former East High football player in attendance, that you played the orange and black, would you please stand and we can recognize you at this time? Come on, stand up. I know you're out there. Former East High football players in attendance. At this time, I'd like to read our mission statement. And our mission statement has been the same for the last 14 years. The East High Ring of Honor has been established to recognize former outstanding East High football players and coaches who have excelled during their playing careers at East High School. This select group of former Trojans will have made major contributions to the success of East High School and brought positive recognition to the program from their outstanding achievements on the gridiron for the orange and black. The common denominator for all members of the Ring of Honor is knowing that, regardless of the year they played for, the achievements that the team they played on, they share an equal status. Once identified, all Ring of Honor inductees attain a lifetime membership. Each member never graduates, never goes on an injury reserve list, is always eligible, never moves out of the district, and never transfers. This is one of the highest honors a football player at East High School can attain. Established in 2005, this is the 14th year in existence. 94 members have been inducted so far, and with tonight's 8 new inductees, we are proud to announce a grand total of 102 members and counting. We would like to introduce you to the members in attendance, but first let's take a moment of silence in remembrance of those members who are no longer with us. Carl Anderson, Craig Atkins, Fred Becker, Carlisle Bixby, Frank Bloomquist, Don Buck, Don Buzzard, William Big Son Flowers, Mike Hewitt, John Hollingsworth, Manny Holmes, Emmett Hoosman, Larry Jones, Joey McCraney, Jerry Moses, Leonard Raffensberger, Walter Reed, Reggie Roby, Pete Ross, Roger Stevens, and John Wagner. Thank you. At this time, let's meet the ones who are in attendance. So to call out your name, you'd like to stand up. Kelsey's right over there with the video. So Tease, you want to make sure you look over there and wave like you always do every year. So we get you and go from there. Let's start off with our lineman. 2005 inductee, he's wandering around somewhere. Mike Allen. Stand up, Mike. 2011 and 2014 inductee, Jeremy Jones. 2007 inductee, Larry Tees. 2016 inductee, Travis Thorson. 2008 inductee, Tom Thorson. 2010 inductee, Ron Turner. Let's meet our linebackers. 2016 inductee, Orrington Gardner II. 2010 inductee, Brian Payne. 2013 inductee, Rod Payne. 2014 inductee, Adonis Smith. 2014 inductee, Scott Rowe. Let's go to our defensive backs. 2010 inductee, Dave Magnuson. 2016 inductee, Jeff Smith. Let's go to our quarterbacks. 2013 inductee, Craig Carper. 2007 inductee, John Dunn. Let's go to our offensive ends. 2017 inductee, Sammy Menton. 2012 inductee, Mike Watkins. Get to our running backs. 2006 inductee, Darnell Jones. 2011 inductee, Randy Lee. 2008 inductee, Tony Stevens. Is there any other players that I may have missed? Sean Hewitt. Well, you're on Sean Hewitt time, I'm sorry. 2005 inductee, Sean Hewitt.
Mike said maybe you ought to announce Tony Green's name even though he's just getting inducted.
We'll get to that. Okay, I want to also introduce our coaches with a little more narrative to them because of the outstanding job they've done. Teaching and coaching at Logan Junior High School for 33 years, the firm but fair mentor and biggest supporter of hundreds of future East High football players, and later an important member of the East High football coaching staff, 2011 inductee, Marv DeWard. Starting his East coaching resume at Logan Junior High School and on to East as a sophomore coach and later a varsity assistant. His dedication to East football and desire to make every player better as a student, athlete, and valuable contributor to society, the man who bleeds orange and black eternally, 2007 inductee, Mike Sheely. This coach was the professor of the offensive line, instructing his East players how to do it the right way during the week and seeing them pass the test each Friday night, propelling an East offense that dominated its opponents. His coaching record while an assistant at East for 6 years was an astounding 49 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie, 2010 inductee, Larry Van Ort. And the Godfather. During his 18-year career as head coach, he led East to numerous conference championships, playoff appearances, and a state championship in 1971. He has accumulated more wins than any other head football coach in East history and in Waterloo history, inducted into the Iowa Coaches Hall of Fame, 2013 inductee, Roger Kettleson. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have here, without a doubt, is a collection of the greatest former high school football players and coaches in the state of Iowa at one place, at one time, for one event. Can we hear it for the East High Hall of Fame Ring of Honor football players? All right, let us get on to our inductees at this time. Our first inductee in memorial is Tony Green. And you know, many sophomore football players have been moved up to the varsity level in recent years for various reasons. But in the 1970 football season, During the middle of East's record 56-game winning streak and 5 straight state championships, many star athletes didn't even start until their senior years. Now, I don't know how many of you did that, but I know some of us didn't even start until you were a senior. The very talented started for 2 years, either on offense or defense, and only on a very rare occasion would a sophomore not only start, but was a major contributor to that championship team. During that streak, only 4 players ever did that: Mike Allen, Tom Smith, Jerry Moses, and Tony Green. At that time, freshmen at East, they didn't have freshman team. They had the 3 middle schools. You know, they had Bunger, McKinstry, and Logan. And so Tony was so good at that time that the coaches knew about him before he even stepped foot at East High School. I mean, he was at East High School as a sophomore before they even started school. And Ernestine, I got a picture of our preseason of him practicing in our shorts and t-shirts before school even started. He was a starter at safety, on defense, and a key member that helped East win the 1970 state championship. He led the team in punt returns, and there's a picture of him on there running an 80-yard punt return back. He led the team in punt returns, which he got to do a lot because we had a pretty good defense. He also led the team in kickoff returns, which he didn't get to do very much because we had a pretty good defense. Tony also helped lead East to very successful seasons the next 2 years, and winning the 6th straight state football championship for East in its 3-year record while playing at East High School as a starter. Tony had an impressive record of 25 wins and 2 losses. Tony attended and graduated from UNI upon leaving East. He then worked at John Deere's for over 30 years as a valuable member in the workforce in Waterloo before retiring. Accepting on Tony's behalf is his family, his sister Ernestine, his son Jarvis, and his daughter Leah. And at this time, the East High Football Hall of Fame is proud to welcome into the Ring of Honor 2018 inductee, Tony Green.
Finish if you'd like to have a seat in the Ring of Honor. We'd appreciate it.
Good afternoon to each of you. I am Ernestine Middleton from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and some of you out there probably remember me as Ernestine Green. But I would like to thank Mr. Aldridge and Mike Allen for contacting me to be a part of this ceremony. And also in the audience is my uncle Julius Green. And then, I'm sorry, should have started with my nephew, Jarvis Green, and my niece, Leah Fisher. I don't know if I just forgot her name that quick. But, and also Charles Wright is in the audience, who is Tony's best friend, and another friend of his, Heather McMurrin. But Tony, there's nothing else I can say. Mr. Aldridge said mostly everything about him, but he was a family person. He was very extremely competitive in everything he did. He did it with all his heart that he had. And he also taught my 2 sons, my nephews, and my niece and my daughter to play football. He taught them the hard way. He told them what they were going to do, what he was going to do, and then he hit them, and he hit them hard. My daughter, she quit after 2 times. But also, and he was competitive, a bowler. Every time I'd come home, he would want to go bowling until he finally beat me, and then he quit. So, but Tony was a person that most people loved him. They liked him. He was always making people laugh with his little backup dance, I called it. I'm sure some of you have seen him do that. But he just had he loved people, loved being around people, and he loved his family very, very much. So thank you all, Mr. Aldrich, and to Mike Allen, and congratulations to the Ring of Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernestine. It's nice to know that more than one person has a senior moment around here, so good. Our second inductee in memorial is M. Peter Middleton, Sr. He was an offensive guard and defensive tackle on East's successful 1964 team, where he was selected All-Metro and All-State honorable mention. His football season's highlights were beating Cedar Falls at Cedar Falls when Cedar Falls was state ranked and that broke their Cedar Falls winning streak. Also, one of his highlights was the annual East-West game at the end of the year, where in his senior season they beat East for the first time in 5 years. He was also an outstanding wrestler and was one of 5 state champion wrestlers that helped East win the state wrestling title championship over West by 2 years. We really like him. Anytime he can beat West, Lenore, that's a good deal. He received his BA from Morningside College, later his master's degree from the University of Iowa. Upon graduation, he served in many social, political, and activist roles throughout the state of Iowa. He was elected as a state representative for the Iowa General Assembly in Waterloo District number 34. He served in the National Reserve for 5 years. He was the former director of the Waterloo Human Rights Commission. He was an administrator in the Black Hawk County Attorney's Office, in addition to being a corporate personnel assistant at Rath Packing Company. And also, he was a member of the board of directors of the African Palace Youth Center. The interesting note I got from visiting with Tom Thorson, who graduated with him at that time, is that Pete was born in Cardiff, Wales, okay? Scott Rowe, do you know where that's at at all? You fill us in? Cardiff, Orrington, help us out. Okay, Cardiff, Wales. All right. He moved to the United States when he was 8 months old. His father was in the service and his mother was from England. And at that time in school, he would speak every now and then in this kind of Cockney, wasn't it? Cockney English accent, just to mess with all his friends from East High School who didn't know what the hell he was talking about half the time. So at this time, the East High, accepting on his behalf, is his sister Lenora, who's come here tonight. And the East High Football Hall of Fame is proud to welcome into the Ring of Honor M. Melville Pete Middleton, Sr.
I knew Pete really well. I played football with him.
I don't have a lot to say because those of you that know Peter knew him well, because Peter was the type of guy that would make himself be known. He was a community man, definitely for Waterloo. I asked his daughter, what was your dad doing down in Texas? She said he was incognito. Much of nothing. I'm sure he was doing things, but he was under the radar. But I want to thank you on behalf of his children and the rest of our family. Thank the Ring of Honor for honoring my brother, and thank you again for allowing me to accept this award.
Our next inductee is our Coaches Award, and our inductee is Coach Ron Johnson in memorial. Ron graduated from UNI in 1967 and started working in the Waterloo school system at Bunger Junior High School until he was drafted by the United States Army and served his country with distinction in Vietnam. Upon his discharge, he returned to Waterloo, where he taught and coached at McKinstry Junior High School. Ron then moved to East High School, where he was head of the physical education department, in addition to coaching basketball and baseball. Ron made a major impact to the football program, serving on Coach Kettleson and Coach Brian Jones's football staff as a freshman and sophomore head coach. The East varsity football staff never had to worry about if the upcoming players knew the fundamentals or knew the correct techniques within their offensive or defensive system, because we knew Ron and his staff took immense pride to teach it and coach it the correct East High way. His patience and understanding and working on attitude, discipline, and team camaraderie was a key factor in the development and growth of so many players that led them to success on and off the athletic field of play. One of Ron's activities that he is most proud of was his work as head of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes program that he established and coordinated from the 1980s through the 1990s when he retired. To many people's knowledge, East had never had an FCA program prior to Ron starting it and not having one after Ron left East High School. Ron is survived by his wife Pam, his daughter Robin, and his son Blaine, who made the 5-hour trip from Wisconsin to be here, and has a 5-hour trip back to Wisconsin for a mandatory training at 6 a.m. in the morning. So we appreciate him being here. And at this time, the East High Football Hall of Fame is proud to welcome into the Ring of Honor 2018 inductee, Coach Ron Johnson.
Wow, yeah, I don't quite have Dad's public speaking skills at all. I know he would have been tickled pink to be up here. I remember all the years, when he was coaching. Each night before each game, I don't think he slept a wink. Coaching was his life. I know teaching was fun for him. I think coaching was by far his favorite thing, and so was FCA. I didn't go to East High. Just before I was actually high school years, he moved us from Waterloo out to Janesville. I'm guessing probably because he knew he'd probably kill me if he had to coach me. When I was in Janesville after he retired, he came out and coached baseball for a while. And so I got to knowing a few of his athletes over the years. I got to experience the wrath of Ronnie J as well. But also it was cool to see how good of a coach he was and how much he really loved the sport and just teaching the kids. Unfortunately, he can't be here, but he would be very honored. And thank you for the East High staff and all of the Ring of Honor guys. Thank you.
Now let's meet our players in attendance here tonight. And one thing I do want to mention to you that as we give their biography and as we've done with the other ones, it's not only, please take note of not only what they did on the playing field, but what they've done since they've graduated, what they've done towards the Help East High School and the community, and how well they've helped society in general. And that's one of the common denominators a lot of the people look at when we get into our inductions. Our first player inductee is Gary Blonigan. Gary was a 2-year starter on East High's 1958 and 1959 seasons, during which that time helped East win the Big Six Conference Championship and state ranking his junior year, and then earning all conference and honorable mention all-state his senior season. In addition to his football prowess, Gary was very involved in school activities such as swing show, cast, Trojan staff, A choir, male chorus, and Gary, when we do the school song at the end of the evening, could you come up and help lead us, because we're tired of Sheely singing off key for the last 18 years, okay? Also involved in student council, publicity and promotions committee, in addition to also participating in track and tennis, plus being a prominent member of the Trojan Varsity Letterman's Club. After graduation, Gary started working at John Deere's engineering department and was a most valuable employee there for the next 41 years. He traveled throughout Europe, assisting with design and construction for the new Waterloo foundry built in 1977, and retired as senior engineer in 2001. Since retirement, Gary has been volunteering for the Iowa Heartland Habitat for Humanity, serving as construction supervisor, board member, benefit co-chairman for general construction work. He also has been volunteering for the Cedar Valley's Arboretum Botanic Gardens, serving as a board member, designing and building landscape structures. We asked him to hand out the biographies, and Gary's closing statement that he sent to us on his biography was this, quote, "I was born and raised in Waterloo, have lived here all my life, and wouldn't change a thing, as my wife and I have been very blessed living in this community." The East High Football Hall of Fame is proud to welcome into the Ring of Honor 2018 inductee Gary Blonigan.
At my age, you forget things, so I brought some notes. You'll be happy to know they're only 2 pages. Thank you, Charlie, for that introduction. It's been 60 years since I played football at East High. At my age, you begin to forget things. One thing I haven't forgot is the camaraderie I experienced playing football here at East High. I have a few memories that have stuck with me all these 60 years. As sophomores, we would have to jog up to Highland Park for our daily practice, as the varsity had use of the main field. And that's about a quarter of a mile each way, so by the time we got to practice, you were kind of wore out already. During one practice section, my teammate Arlo Patterson went out for a pass. As he went up for the pass, the sun blinded him. The ball passed through his hands, hitting him squarely on the nose. He came slowly back, kind of hunched over, in obvious pain. Coach Ketchum, Ken Ketchum was our coach then, lifted his head and asked him if he was all right. And Arlo replied, "I'm fine." Obviously, Arlo had a broken nose, and he actually finished out this practice session. Needless to say, we all got a lesson in courage and humility from a 15-year-old boy. I remember Arlo to this day. In my junior year, I was able to log in some playtime, and in 1958, we had a very good team. We had 4 all-state wrestling champions on our team: Bill Dotson, Jim Hoosman, Virgil Carr, and Jerry Hollins. Halfback Jim Hoosman, about 6'3", weighing in at 210, was in contention for high school All-American honors. We actually had a play called High Diddle Diddle with Hoosman up the middle. With third and short, we were guaranteed to make that down. Everyone blocked straight forward, and if you didn't, Jim would run right over your back. In one game, I remember when we played Burlington, our defensive back was taken out for a few plays. Coach Tony Gazowski grabbed me by the shoulder pads and said, "Blonigan, get in there and play." I was like, "What? Me? I play right guard." I never had practice or played that position before. Okay, so I went in, and on the very first play, their quarterback, mistakenly I suppose, threw the pass directly at me. I was able to catch the pass and gained a few yards before being tackled. What I remember about that incident was that when I left the field, my teammates all slapped me on the back for making a great interception, all the while knowing very well it was a mistake their quarterback had made. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. In my senior year, we only had 2 returning lettermans. Although we lost some games, we were always competitive in the Big Six Conference, losing 3 games by a touchdown or less. We always played our hearts out. The one thing I remember, there's certain things that sticks in your mind forever, and this is one of them. Whenever we lost a game, coaches Tony Gazowski and Don Hanson were very supportive, always praising us for doing our best. Win or lose, and after all our road games, the coaches had planned a steak dinner for us with all the trimmings. And believe me, this was a treat that many of us would experience for the very first time. Today, when I think of the 15 seniors that I played with, a profound sadness comes over me, as 8 of those special guys have passed on. On a more happy note, next year we will celebrate our 60th class reunion, and I'm looking forward to once again to see my teammates and reminisce about those wonderful days when we played football at East High. I would like to thank the Ring of Honor Committee for this recognition. It means a lot to me. I think of it as a recognition not just for me, but for all my senior teammates, because without them, I would not be receiving this honor. Thank you.
So Shavers, you get that part about steaks. Maybe next year we can have something lined up here. I mean, we've set a precedent, so we could at least give it a shot. Our next inductee, Philip Glenn Caldwell Jr. Glenn Caldwell Jr. graduated from East High School in 1989, where he lettered in 2 sports, football and wrestling. Glenn was a starting free safety for the Big 8 championship team and was awarded honors in all Big 8 and all Metro in football. He served as co-captain of the football team and captain of the wrestling team. At East High School, Glenn contributed to the wrestling team, 4 years of varsity wrestling, two state qualifying years, and a 4th place finish in state. After high school, Glenn attended Iowa Central Community College, where he earned an associate arts degree in business. He continued wrestling at Iowa Central and qualified for the Junior College National Wrestling Tournament. Glenn later relocated to Chicago, Illinois, where he resides with his wife and children. He worked in litigation support for 12 years, managed a transportation company, and owned a behavioral health care company. Currently, Glenn works with the state of Illinois in highway maintenance. Glenn has always made it a point to give back to the community by volunteering his time in youth sports and continues to do so in Chicago by coaching both youth football and wrestling. You know, the best story to relate to you about Glenn was visiting with Coach Jones, his dad Philip Sr., and actually witnessing it myself. East was playing West in their homecoming game at Old Sloan Wallace Stadium. A victory over West would be sweet as beating your crosstown rival should be. But also, winning the game would give East the Big 8 conference title and secure a berth in the upcoming state playoffs, right? Well, East was winning the game, and late in the 4th quarter, when the game was in hand, Glenn got in as a backup quarterback. As the players, fans, and everybody was waiting for the clock and East to run out the clock, Glenn called timeout. And everybody goes, "What the hell's going on?" Not to be lost in all the joy celebrating was Coach Kettleson's 100th career victory as a coach at East High School. Glenn picked the ball up, held it high into the air for everybody to see, and brought it over to the sideline to give to Coach Kettleson. Now that's an unselfish team type of player that he was. Players knew about it, coaches knew about it, but with respect, he wanted everyone in the stands to know of this milestone victory. I mean, what a class act by a great player and a great person. Now, I know after the game you guys wanted to celebrate, but Coach Kettleson had Coach Jones put the fear of God into you to stay home and relax. But trust me, us coaches got together and enjoyed that 100th victory. The East High Football Hall of Fame is proud to welcome into the Ring of Honor 2018 inductee Philip Glenn Caldwell, Jr.
Good to see you.
Thank you. I'm so honored. I want to thank Mike Allen, personally, Charlie Aldridge for the honor into the ring. I really appreciate it. I'd like to also thank my family for coming out to support me tonight. I started off with a foundation. That foundation started off with two great parents, my mother and my father, Philip Sr., my mother, Kathy Caldwell. Set an example of hard work. And I continue that on, and I just wanted to play hard with my fellow teammates. I still believe that that 1989 team was probably the best team at Eastside. I think we finished undefeated that year for the regular season, but we, of course, lost in the playoffs. So I still believe that that was a great team. I believe that year we had 17 all Big 8 players on that team, the most still, I think, to this day. But also want to thank my brother for coming in. He came in all the way from Florida. I wouldn't narrowly tell him this, me and him still argue and be competitive, but he was my idol growing up. I wore number 15 because of him. Love you for that, brother. So I am humbly grateful for this honor and really appreciate what you guys did voting for me. And I miss all those times hanging out with my buddies. Still keep in contact with a few. I'd like to acknowledge the coaches. They did a fine job getting us ready, preparing us for each and every game. And I still carry that on to this day in my life of running my business. So Coach Kittleson, those days when you had us meeting, I think it was on a Sunday or something, preparing us for the games, I really appreciate that because that showed me how to prepare for life as far as running my own company and setting goals. My wife could not be here today, my lovely wife, Carla, so I appreciate her for putting up with me for almost 20 years. My children, Ashley, Bria, Sydney, Paige, and Peyton. So I lost my mind to start all over, had some more young ones. So I want to thank them for putting up with Dad and all the mess. Once again, thank you and congratulations to all the inductees that were selected and the past and present honorees. Thank you so much.
We're going to meet afterwards down at the Fraternal Order of the Eagles. And Glenn, you're going to have a good debate with a lot of these guys, which was the best Eastside football team. So good luck on that. How many of you were here last year? Anybody last year? I mean, you got to thank Mr. Peyton, the custodian staff. Isn't it nice and cool compared to last year? I mean, wow, this is great. Continuing with our next inductee is Billy Ray Jones. Billy was an all-Metro, all-conference, and first-team all-state selection at fullback and member of East's 1971 state championship team. Upon leaving East, Billy accepted a full-ride scholarship for football at the University of Iowa. He currently ranks 5th all-time on the East High career football list for individual points scored in a single season behind Jerry Moses, Neil Moses, Tom Smith, and Lou Montgomery. The story, I remember, he was playing his 72 season, I believe, and I visited somebody after a game, and they said something about, did you go to the game Friday night for the East High game? And I go, no, I don't know if I got there. He goes, God, they gave the ball to the same guy like 12 or 13 times in a row. I'm like, yeah? Well, it was Billy. But if any of you know Coach Kettleson and Coach Kettleson's philosophy is we're going to attack a hole. And if it works, we're going to keep pounding that hole. And then if you want to stop it, you're going to have to do something to adjust it, pinch the tackles down or bring a stunt. Once you do that, then we'll go somewhere else. Well, they never made the adjustment. So he kept running it and kept running it and kept running it. And were you in better shape back then than now? I don't know. But anyway, about 12 or 13, 14 times in a row. And everybody goes, geez, Coach Kettleson, what do you keep running that play for? Well, as a junior, he averaged 7.3 yards a carry. As a senior, he led the Big 8 Conference, the rushing title, and scoring that senior season, averaging 8 yards a carry. So you wonder why keep giving him the ball. And everybody was happy with it, but we had one guy that wasn't real happy with it. And that was your teammate, Sammy Minton, who was playing split end out there going, man, can somebody stop that sucker so we can throw the ball at least once or twice? Right, Sammy? All those blocks you missed downfield, we thought, yeah, okay. You can see and visit Billy every Wednesday morning at the Evansdale Farmers Market as he now sells the products that he produces on his acreage in Northeast Iowa. The East High Football Hall of Fame is proud to welcome into the Ring of Honor 2018 inductee Billy Ray Jones.
Congratulations, Billy. Well deserved.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie, I was pretty good then, wasn't I? I didn't know I was that good, but anyway.
14 times rolled out?
Yeah, but I'm doing vegetables now. I'd like to thank everybody for coming this afternoon. It's an honor to be nominated in the Ring of Honor. I'd like to thank the committee for nominating me. I also would like to thank God, number one, for putting me in a position to accept and have this honor. First and foremost, I don't think this would ever happen if it wasn't for my mother, and I'd just like for her to stand. She's 90 years old, and she still walks a couple of miles a day. And I thank God for her. And another thing I'd like to thank is my wife for 45 years putting up with me. I don't know how she did it, but she did. Lily, could you stand, please? Where is she? Oh, okay. And that's my son. I have 3 sons, Richard, William, and Justin. Both of my boys that's my oldest, Richard. William and Justin, they're in Colorado. They live in Colorado along with 8 grandkids. I have a lot of moments, but there's one moment that I like to share. And most of my friends, they know this moment. I have a brother, I have 5 brothers and 1 sister. But this story starts off like this. My brother Reggie is a year younger than me, and he went to West High School. But we couldn't go to the same school. I went to East, he went to West. We slept in the same bed. And I'll never forget this. 2 weeks before the East-West game, we would look at each other, and he'd say, yeah, I can't wait to play against you, because he played middle linebacker, and I was a fullback. I said, so, you can't stop me. I'm just going to let you know that. So he said, that's okay. Everybody builds you up talking to how good you are. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to you. Well, the game came. We didn't speak for 2 weeks. We was pushing each other every night in the bed. I said, well, tonight is game night. We get on the field. He's middle linebacker. I'm standing there. Kim Boston calls the play. Same play, 42 trap. He looking at me, shaking his head like this. I said, yeah, bring it, let's go. First play of the game. I take the snap, boom. He knocks me flat on my back. Then he stands over me and said, I told you I was gonna beat you, but I won't go there. I said, get off of me. I pushed him off, went back to the play. You're not supposed to talk in the huddle. I said, give me the ball again. That next play, I ran 80 yards, and he was reaching at me. And so, I think, so that's one of my most memorable moments. And again, glad to be here, and I'm glad I was nominated, and I appreciate everybody coming out. And my last little saying is, I am a vegetable farmer. I have about 200 acres, and I sell fresh produce at the farmers markets, everything. A lot of people know who I am, so come on down and have some. Thank you.
Moving on to our next inductee is Tarek Stevens. Tarek was a tailback and inside linebacker, playing both ways, and helped lead East to the 1991 state playoffs, earning All-Metro and an honorable mention All-State his senior season, in addition to being voted team captain. He also was a 4-year letter winner and 3-time state qualifier in wrestling, while also being named team captain for 2 years. Tarek is heavily involved in his community, doing volunteer work in Nazarene Children's Theater, member of the Carver Middle School PTA, and also active while serving the Waterloo Schools Improvement Advisory Committee. Tarek volunteered with Leisure Service, coaching flag football, and with the Future Trojans Wrestling Club. Tarek is married and a father of 5 children, 3 who have already graduated from East High School. Again, visiting with Coach Jones about Tarek is, I can remember when Coach Jones stepped in to fill the head position for Coach Kettleson, and Brian wanted to maintain and continue to elevate the physical toughness of East High School. Coach Jones wanted to pound it. We're not going to be soft. We're going to smack people and get in their face and get up there and pound. Can you imagine Coach Jones, any of you saying that? But Brian, that was one of the things he did. And when we had our first meeting, if you remember, we were in the auditorium and we were getting new uniforms, and we had new black uniforms, the pants, the tops, and it was kind of that bad boy look. And he wanted somebody to embody what that was going to be like. And of all the players on the team, he chose Tarek to come out to make the statement that we're not going to be soft anymore. Not that we were soft, you want to continue the soft. Now, during that season, a lot of people may have forgot that Tarek scored 2 touchdowns on defense. Well, they forgot because they got called back on penalties. Jeremy, you might kind of remember this pretty good, maybe not. Inside linebacker is Brian Payne, and Tarek was the other inside linebacker. And Payne had always told Tarek, hey man, if there's a fumble, I'll let you pick it up and run with it, because you're a little faster than me. Payne about everybody was faster than you, but that's okay. And that Payne would block for him, okay? That Payne would block for him. Well, that happened, not once, but twice. Tarek scooped up a fumble and ran it back for a touchdown. Payne wanted to block so bad that he hit somebody in the back, clipped the opponent in the back, and the TD got called back. Not once this happened, twice. And to this day, Brian Payne still don't understand why he never got to play offense and block for anybody. To this day. Tarek's father, Tony, is also in the Ring of Honor, and they are the 6th father-son combination inducted into the East Football Hall of Fame, joining John and Lance Dunn, Mike and Sean Hewitt, Larry, Brian Jones, Paul Owen, Jerry, J.J. Moses, Tom and Travis Thorson, and the East High Football Hall of Fame is proud to welcome into the Ring of Honor 2000 inductee Tarek Stevens.
I will remember that for
Yeah,
Congratulations, big
Thank you. East High. That's it. I mean, from the time I was a little kid, my dad taking me to the games, football, basketball, wrestle meets, East High. I knew I was going to East High. My parents went to East High, and that's all it was. I seen so many people growing up that I idolized. Mr. Gardner, one of the nastiest, hardest hitting cats I ever seen. Adonis, that's my right-hand man. If he wasn't blocking, where you at, Payne? Come on, let's go. But my favorite thing about Eastside, like I said, I have 5 children, and how y'all doing? 3 graduates, 3 college graduates, 2 more to go, all from East High. My parents, my brother, they were always there. My sister, yeah, she was about the loudest one in there. But we always had the family structure, like Glenn touched on earlier, the base earlier. I had so many people I just looked up to growing up, going to East High, you know. And it was like, East High, that's all it is. I mean, orange and black, I don't know, some of the memories I have. I'm a wrestler, so I played football on the side, you know, but I'm a wrestler, so I got a different type of brain pattern. I remember junior year, first time I ran the ball's over there. I'm coming back, Middleton said, "Stevens, can you hold the ball?" I said, "Yeah, I can hold the ball." We recovered the ball. A little bit later, I get the call again. Ball goes that way. Middleton say, "Stevens, if you can't hold the ball, you never touch the ball again." Never fumbled again after that. Never did. But it was so much fun, just the friends that you make growing up and going to East High, not, even if you didn't play sports, or even if you wasn't a star, or even if you didn't, we had guys like Steve Kusher, you know, practice every day. They didn't play a lot, but they was there every day. You know, that's the thing about it. Everybody wanted to play. Everybody wanted to be East High, and that's where we were. And we wanted to be good. 91, we were a good squad. We was a good squad. And I enjoyed every minute of it. Wrestling. I was a freshman. Glenn teared me up in the wrestling room every day. Because back then there's a wrestling room for the freshmen and one for the varsity. I was a freshman in there. I was thrown to the wolves. My older cousin, J.J. Holmes, one of my idols. Darnell Jones, one of my idols. Mr. Shavers, where you at? He snuck out. One of my idols, growing up watching them. I'm chasing behind Darnell out in Greenbrier, trying to hang with them, but I'm the little kid, so it's all good, and I appreciate it. It's a humbling experience, especially being able to go on with my father. You know, that's my right-hand man right there. Friends, family, everybody, I thank everybody for everything you did. My wife back there, you stand up. You stand up. So, I mean, it's all about family and support, and it was fun, man. I reminisce about it, and it was fun. So, thank you, and good evening.
And rounding out our distinguished panel of inductees is Jamel Rowe. Jamel was a 3-year starter and letter winner for the Trojans during the 1993-95 football seasons. His combination of size, speed, and strength made him a key contributor on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. As a linebacker, he was equally effective stopping the run between the tackles and sideline to sideline, and also excelled in pass coverage. Following his junior campaign, Jamel was selected to the All-Metro team. As a senior, Jamel was named All-Metro, All-Mississippi Valley Conference, and honorable mention All-State through the Iowa Newspaper Association. He was a co-captain of the 1995 team and was voted most valuable player by his teammates when he led the team in tackles with 115 and rushed for 400 yards on a team that included 4 athletes who earned Division I scholarships and a future NFL player. For his career, he totaled over 225 tackles, 500 yards rushing, averaging 5.5 yards a carry. Jamel returned to East as a volunteer assistant coach with Brian Jones' staff for 3 years from 1998 to 2000. He joins his cousin, Scott Rowe, a 2014 inductee in the East High Ring of Honor. Jamel has been employed by Young Plumbing and Heating for the last 21 years and resides in Waterloo with his fiancée, Lindsay Hill, children Alyssa, Bergen, and Griffin. Best story that I can remember was Jamel was an 8th grader over at West Middle School, West Middle School. I was teaching swim over there at the time, and we had an exploratory rotation. So you'd come in there and be in that class 5-6 weeks, and then you'd move on. Well, we just started a new rotation, and as he came down, you've been over, right, Mr. Payne, over at West Junior, that dungeon down there? Yeah, the swimming area. We had about 14 or 15 guys in the swim class. And I just noticed we had this really, really small kid, probably about 4 foot, 85 pounds at best. And this was before the days of bullying and stuff, but he was getting kind of pushed around and, made fun of and picked on. And, being the first or second day, I didn't pick up on it right away. But then about the 3rd day, I could kind of see that these guys were kept constantly getting on this guy's case. So it was about the 3rd day we came in, and I'm at my desk. John, of course, I was doing my lesson plans. I had my head down. And I heard a little commotion, and I could see him kind of messing with his kid. So I just about ready to stand up and go over there when Jamel just speaks up. He goes, "Hey, I've had enough of this. I'm tired of you guys picking on this kid. I'm tired of you messing with him. And if anybody wants to mess with him from now on, you're going to mess with me because I'm tired of it." And he just stood up at that time to do the right thing at the right time. When he did that, all those students looked over at me, and I just went back to my lesson plan. Got done and walked out the door, and bye, Mr. Aldrich. See you tomorrow, Jamel. Now, does that make him a great football player? No. He was destined to be a great football player already. But what that makes him is a man of distinction, a man of conviction, and a man of doing the right thing at the right time. And the Eastside Football Hall of Fame is proud to welcome into the Ring of Honor 2018 inductee Jamel Rowe.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. It's an honor to be here today. Very honored to be joining such an outstanding group of football players into the Ring of Honor. Got a lot of great memories from playing here. One that really stands out, it's kind of a funny one. My senior year, first game, got a concussion in the first half. Couldn't play the rest of the game. Wednesday, the following week, go into Jones's classroom. I'm cleared to play Friday night. Well, what'd you find out? I had a CAT scan. What'd they find? Nothing. What do you mean? Didn't find anything. I thought Jones was gonna fall out of his chair laughing at me. I'd like to say thank you to a few people. Scott, Chad, thanks for not letting me turn into the little mama's boy. My Aunt Billy, Uncle Dennis, thanks for being at every game. Sorry. And thanks for getting my mom to every away game. And a special thank you to my mom for always being there for me. You know, being a single mother, taking care of me was a challenge. Wasn't always the greatest kid. I'm not sure if you believe that or not, but thanks for always believing in me, not letting me quit anything. I'd like to say because everything you've taught me, and I've turned out pretty good, I think because of you. And again, thank you to the Ring of Honor Committee for voting me in, and thank you for your time.
All right, in conclusion, we got a few housekeeping items to wrap up. 2018 inductees, they'll take off. We're going to get a group picture right along here, and all the Ring of Honor members want to come up, and we want to get a picture of that. It's probably why Rowe and Magnuson show up half the time. They want to see the picture in the paper. Also, a reminder that we have the DVDs available with Mr. Allen in the back. Possibility to buy a brick. He has information for that. If you want to get a copy of this year's ceremony, Kelsey's done a great job over there taking care of that. The reminder of after the ceremony, we're having a gathering down at the Waterloo Eagles Club. You go right down 5th Street, turn on Sycamore, go all the way to the end. You think you can't get there, but you can get there. And then Caldwell, you can talk about how good that team was and take all these guys on that, okay? And everyone is invited. We hope you all come down there, continue that. Again, Mike in the back has got the brick walkway sheets for that, so see Mr. Allen on that. And to finish off, where's Brandy at? Come on, Brandy. Don't get up here and sing. We're gonna finish off the night with the best note available with our school fight song. So we're going to bring up the East Side Bruce Springsteen. Da, 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 for East Waterloo, wake up the echoes cheering for you. Send the valley cheer on high, shake out the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small, East Waterloo will win overall. While her loyal sons are marching onward to victory. E-A-S-P-H-I-T-A.
I'm a Trojan. I am orange and black.
I am a Trojan.
I am a Trojan.
We are orange and black.
We are East Side.